When I married Emily, everyone congratulated me and said the same thing. You're a good man for accepting her son as your own. But no one ever asked if her son accepted me. Ethan was 8 years old when I entered his life. He had his father's eyes and his mother's stubborn silence. From the very first day, he made it clear where I stood. He wasn't rude, he wasn't loud. He was polite in the coldest way possible. He called me Mark. Never Dad, never even stepdad, just Mark, like I was a temporary guest in his home. I told myself it was fine. Kids take time. Love takes patience. Every morning I woke up early to make breakfast. Pancakes, eggs, sometimes little smiley faces with fruit, hoping it might make him laugh. He ate quietly and thanked me, but his eyes never met mine. At school events, he sat beside his mom, leaving an empty chair between us. When teachers asked who I was, he'd say, "My mom's husband." That sentence felt heavier every time. Emily noticed, of course. Late at night, she would apologize for him, blaming the divorce, blaming his biological father who left when Ethan was 5. I never blamed Ethan. I blamed myself. Maybe I wasn't trying hard enough. Maybe I was trying too hard. I decided I would just show up every single day. I went to his baseball games, even when he didn't look at the stands. I helped with homework, even when he said he didn't need help. When he had nightmares, I stood outside his door, listening, never entering unless he called for his mom. I respected his space because I didn't want to force a role he wasn't ready to give me. Years passed like that. One night changed everything. Emily was working a late shift at the hospital. It was just Ethan and me. Snow was falling hard outside, covering the streets in silence. I remember watching TV, half asleep, when I heard a sound that didn't belong. A dry, desperate coughing. Not loud, not dramatic, just wrong. I rushed to Ethan's room. He was sitting upright in bed, clutching his chest, his face pale, his breathing shallow and fast. I knew instantly, an asthma attack. His inhaler was empty. Panic hit me like a wave. I wrapped him in a blanket, carried him to the car, and drove like my life depended on it. I ran red lights, I ignored speed limits, I begged every traffic signal to turn green. Ethan's head rested against my chest, his breathing getting weaker, his small hand gripping my jacket like I was the only thing keeping him on this earth. At the emergency room, nurses rushed toward us. One of them asked sharply, "Are you the father?" Time slowed. Before I could answer, Ethan looked up at me. His eyes were wide with fear. His voice was barely a whisper, but clear enough to shatter me. "Yes," he said. "That's my dad." Those 4 words changed my entire life. Doctors rushed him in. They told me later that if we had arrived even 5 minutes later, the outcome could have been very different. I sat beside his hospital bed all night, holding his hand, watching the machines rise and fall with his breath. I didn't sleep. I didn't move. When he finally woke up, the first thing he did was squeeze my hand. "Mark," he said softly. Then he paused. "Dad." I felt something break open inside my chest. He told me then what he had never said before, that he kept his distance because loving me felt dangerous, that he was afraid if he called me Dad, I would disappear like his biological father did, that he didn't think he was worth staying for. I cried. Grown men don't talk about it, but I cried like a child. I told him the truth, that being a dad isn't about blood. It's about choosing someone every day, about staying when it's hard, about loving even when you're pushed away, and that I had already chosen him a long time ago. When Emily arrived that morning, exhausted and scared, Ethan smiled at her and said, "Mom, Dad saved me." She looked at me, tears streaming down her face, and in that moment, our family became real. Life wasn't suddenly perfect after that. We still argued, we still struggled. Teen years came with slammed doors and silence again, but one thing never changed. He called me Dad. I taught him how to drive, I helped him through his first heartbreak, I sat in the front row at his graduation. When he got accepted into college, he hugged me longer than he ever had before and said, "I wouldn't be here without you." Today, Ethan is 17, almost grown, taller than me now, stronger in ways I never was at his age. Sometimes people still say, "You're a great stepfather." I smile politely, but I know the truth. I was never just his stepfather. I was the man who stayed, the man who showed up, the man he chose to call Dad. And that is the greatest title I will ever have.